between parents and children. No, each stage they can open up to you and talk to you. Otherwise, by the time they get to that stage, you've already lost them. Because if they don't confide in you, how do you know they are really head and heels in love with somebody? They may hide it from you, but it displays outside. You know the cases where we have people, they dress nicely at home, but they have other clothing in their bags. So the moment they step out, they wear the dangerous ones to meet that person they want to meet. All that are part of the problems of the infatuation we're talking about, where they want to do everything possible to please that one person at the expense of everybody else and everything else. So I think we should help the young people right from the beginning to begin to understand. As soon as they can understand, let's begin to explain that these are changes that I tell my girls, I mean, you meet people, you will fall in love, you will like people, but that is not the end of the world. You need to be able to keep your brains intact as your emotions also express themselves.
Ekuba wanted to make a contribution.
Yes, I think that I have stretched it with the information that Obodai said, but I wanted to maintain the fact that definitely we are in infatuation when there's this emotional love and when you're young and it's beginning to come. It captures you like a spider's web. You have, it's difficult for you to disentangle yourself from, because at the moment that's the only thing that is on your mind. But it doesn't mean that the true way you feel is exactly what pertains in the world, because aside that feeling, other things must happen, things must go on, and life must continue to go on. And these are some of the vital things that they should be told, to know that this person might not be this way towards you from the beginning, the way you find it. And the reason why you have to keep your head straight and know that when that doesn't happen anymore, life must still continue.
Are we suggesting that the feeling is real, but what we are visualizing may not be real?
Not necessarily. What we are saying is that there's more to what you're feeling. You might feel, because it's normally love at first sight, because it's normally a sudden experience that you immediately begin to feel because you've met the person in a short while. How is the person like? You don't know any details about the person, and the revelations that you get from the background of this person might inform you how far the person can go with you. And you know, that is when true love sets in, because it is from what you know. And even, you know, sometimes you feel like that towards somebody and the person does not even notice you at all. You know,
it's frustrating.
Yes, it could be frustrating depending on how you take it. But if you have a if you're a level-headed person and you know that I want a broad chest person, tall and like Pastor Obodai's color,
and a deep voice,
Careful.
Or you want a tall, slender lady with long hair. And you see, and immediately you stuck the person because the person even said hi nicely to you. It doesn't mean that the person is the perfect person you wanted, you know. So the revelation that will come out of knowing who he or she really is will inform whether the two of you are the person is even single in the first place, for you to come together and develop a relationship, for you to see whether you have true love between yourself. But let's not forget that it's not only lies with the teenagers. Adults get infatuated like that, and you'll be surprised. Somebody who is even perhaps divorced 3 times would be head over heels infatuated, or somebody's even living with perhaps 2 wives and infatuated over a woman, and you would not believe it. Even depending on the person's age, the kind of calls you will get in a day, the number of times the person wants to see you, would even be more than a teenager who doesn't know what exactly is happening in the person's life. You know, so I just want us to strike that balance.
Yes, I appreciate that point. I was going to come to that. But then let me come to Scofray and find out. Scofray, you notice that we're saying emotional love basically relates to the initial feelings that you have. Let's define true love, and then we'll begin to make the comparison. So what would you say true love is?
Well, I actually wouldn't want us to qualify it as true.
How would you like to describe it?
Love is love. You can't say Christ truly loved us or God truly loved us. For God so
I 100% agree with you. But the point is that there's this teenager who is operating at emotional life. He said we love each other.
Because they are in a state, they are in a period where they are to go through that particular chemistry, as Professor rightly said. But to the part where love comes in as patient, for you to lie low, as Ekuba said, where you will take time to assess the person, where he will be responsible, where you take decisions that will not bring in any other thing that will affect the two of you. That is the point where love is. Love is patience, is kind, is giving, is sharing, is forgiving, is selfless. But with emotions, it isn't. Emotions want everything at all costs, and by force I should have it. At the point where your parents could tell you, this gentleman or this lady you are going out with, this is what we've noted, this is what we know. I know him better than you people are saying. But in the reality, what your parents are saying is true. That moment, your emotions are so up that nothing can change your mind. But where you sit back, where you feel that love, that part of you that goes like, well, there could be a sense in what mommy and daddy are saying. Let me find out more. Let me investigate. That is where love comes in, and it gives you the room to be who you are.
Okay, let me come back to Reverend Obodai. How would I distinguish genuine love, if you like that, from mere emotional love at first sight?
Yeah, unfortunately for us in the English, we just say love and that is it.
All right.
You know, but when you break it into the agape, the filial, the erotic love, that's eros, and then the forgive, that is the companionship type of love. Erotic love, everybody knows, is passionate. You know, then agape love is loving us in spite of everything else. That's a God type of love, unconditional love. That love doesn't depend on what you do. It doesn't depend on how you look. It doesn't depend on what you have. It just loves you for being who you are. You know, and that is what we more often call true love. That is real love. And the other types of love needs to mature to get to that point where you love somebody in spite of everything else. Because they may not reciprocate. They may not do the things you like, but you just love them. Okay, but we know that love grows and love dies. Which means that if you have if you love somebody and the person doesn't reciprocate, he's in the earlier part we were talking about. Somebody's infatuated. It really head over heels. The other person may not even have noticed you.
Yeah.
And you may be doing everything within your power to get the person's attention. You know, just to get because you see, there can't be a relationship unless it is mutual.
Yeah.
If it's unidirectional, it's not a relationship. It is me feeling something towards you. It's one-sided. It becomes a relationship only when there is a feedback, there is a reciprocal feeling towards that person. Then that mutuality is what brings a relationship between us, either beginning from friendship or whatever. I can see from your face you want to say something.
Start with a point.